I've never really thought about how I'd want people to see me as a racer in years to come. But maybe it's being able to say that every world champion or great rider that came through the sport, I've beaten them head to head.
It's incredible, just what he's been able to accomplish.
He's just brilliant. Like, he's a legend in his own time.
He'll kill himself to win at anything.
Whether you like him or you don't like him, what the guy has done, for how long he's done it for, puts him in a class of one. He's the greatest of all time.
He wants to go out as the best.
Just watching what we had built crumbled right before our eyes.
There's no ways I can end it like this.
Okay, can we get a sync clap, Greg?
I'm Greg Minnaar. I'm from Pietermaritzburg in South Africa. I race on the Santa Cruz Syndicate and I race downhill mountain biking.
You remember when you meet Greg Minnaar? Good looking, fast, smart, then you have to compete against him.
How would I sum up my relationship with Greg? That's complicated. Mostly good.
He's very kind, gentle, he's soft-spoken, very caring. He puts a lot of people before himself.
Fussy, picky, pain in the ass. Nobody's as big a pain in the ass. I think because we're friends.
Greg Minnaar is undoubtedly, for me, the GOAT. He's won 4 UCI World Championships in downhill, he's won 3 overall titles, and he currently holds the record for elite men's wins at 23, which puts him in a class of his own.
He works really hard.
He does the work, but he also does the other parts. I've never met anybody party that hard and wake up and be absolutely fine.
Sorted me out. Could have another beer now.
I'll remember him as the funniest guy I've ever known.
Oh, I'm just having a pee right now to warm up.
Greg's got that rock star quality. If he walks into a cafe or he walks into a bar, it's more likely a bar. And people don't know who he is. He has that magnetism.
How's that?
Delicious.
I don't know how he keeps doing it week in, week out. The old gut's still there and giving him a run for the money, which is cool to see.
Unreal. Awesome. The GOAT.
I started in motocross. I made the switch to mountain bikes and then just felt like downhill was more my thing.
Greg Minnaar first arrived onto the scene about the age of 17 in 1999. He did a few select UCI World Cups. He did a full season in 2000, and after that, it was just sort of onwards and upwards from there.
My second season in elite racing, to get through the season, to be head-to-head against Nicolas Vuille, who was 10-time world champion.
Second overall, 28 points behind Nico, I think. It would be nice though to beat him though.
You know, he's like a hero in the sport, and here you're up against him and you catch up to him in points and go into the final round and you're head-to-head in the last run of the season and you pip him to take the World Cup over. I mean, that was incredible. I still don't think I really understood that I just beaten Nico. I think it was just too overwhelming. This is some of the race-winning bikes back from 2001 World Cup Series bike. This is incredible how small and rickety this little thing is, eh? My first World Championship winning bike in 2003.
Greg Minnaar, di Sudafrica.
The Honda's from 2005. When you sit on it, you realize how small they are. How did we ride them? And then I made the switch to Santa Cruz. That was in 2008. We're going into Fort William World Championships in 2007. Honda had announced that they were going to pull out of downhill racing at the time. I ended up crashing and going over the handlebars, and really ruining my shoulder, and the season closer was the following weekend in Slovenia, and couldn't obviously ride, but I was really booked to go, so I went and supported my team. I met this guy, Rob Roscop, and so that's how it all got started. Rob and I drinking beers at the bottom of a downhill, watching World Cup racing.
Right, near into my gloves. I'll sign them for you if you want. You want to hold those, sir? They smell.
There's quite a few guys in the mountain bike circuit that they have the race etiquette, but they don't have the personality. And my goal was to find the people with both. That's what made it what it was.
It's a syndicate. It's not a team, it's a syndicate. Group of individuals that are like-minded and are after the same goals, but they want to have fun while they're doing it.
Good start to the morning.
I pushed for Greg to be on the team. It wasn't just Roscott making that decision. He took my advice too on who we should have on the team.
Anyone else? You need them at every race, I think. Lifts your game. Makes you feel good about yourself, having good people around you. It's cool.
Greg adapted extremely well to the family atmosphere that we embraced. And he has told me before, that's the reason he's probably raced as long as he has, is because of that base and the family and the love and the friendship and the support that was all part of Rob's vision that I was able to help manage.
With myself and Greg, we found a good mix early on. Kathy running the whole show, Roscott, we were all like-minded and made something good of it. And now it's tough to pick riders that fit into the mold of the syndicate.
It's about time.
It was really comfortable. It was a smooth transition into syndicate, and I found and you could probably tell some being there ever since 2008, that it was a place where I really felt home.
Wild out, boys.
He joined the Santa Cruz Syndicate, won an overall title straight away in 2008. 2012, another UCI Worlds title followed, and then probably the biggest race of them all was that 2013 UCI World Championships in Pietermaritzburg, his hometown. The chance to win the UCI World Champions rainbow stripes in front of his home crowd.
Go up to the top. Coming back to a little town where I'm from, being able to race in front of the local crowd, it's like once in a lifetime opportunity. And not many people get to experience that. And this is it, the start hut.
They built it pretty good because it's still up, almost 10 years later.
The pressure that was on him to win on his home track was absolutely unreal. But he took it like every other race.
Just the amount of noise that the crowd generated at the finish line was insane.
I was just thinking, I remember warming up, you could hear the crowd through the valley, you could hear them down the bottom. It's quite far away. Being world champ in 2012 automatically put me at #1, so I had to start last. You know, there's some riders that had gone down early, it's at some blistering times. In the afternoon, the wind blows up through the valley and up the hill, so I knew there was going to be a headwind. And my mechanic, Marsh, at the time was trying to duct tape over my laces, and he was freaking out. And I was like, Marsh, you just calm down, it's going to be all right. But I just knew I had to absolutely nail those tabletops perfect and get on the gas because we're going to have a headwind. I was second going into the last split. Yeah, there was a rock section, I remember. There was only a few of us that jumped it. And you could clear the whole rock section, but I kept tagging a rock and then snapping the rim and losing pressure on the way to the line. I did maybe 4 of them, 4 wheels in practice. And my mechanic, Marcia, was like, oh, you need to change your line. And I was like, there's no way. Just put tires in or something, I'm sure I'll make it to the finish line before the tire goes down. In the final race, clipped the rock. got on that finish straight and my tire was going down and it was all squirming down to the finish line. It was like, it was this close. I was brought up in the city and I have a house really close to the finish area. It was definitely going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win this race, and I had to do it. I mean, you cross the line and you just look for a reaction from the crowd, because you know if you've won it, they were going to be cheering. If not, they'd probably beat you up in Marisburg. I mean, who knows, throw a bottle of brandy at you, I don't know. And so I look at the crowd just go nuts, and it was like, you absolutely exhausted. It was so incredible, it really was. I just remember the crowd going incredibly wild. Looking up, I saw my family in the grandstands, and mates, and it was cool, really cool. It was probably the toughest race of my life, because I had to win it. I couldn't drop that opportunity, but man, it was, what a day, what a day.
He went through a couple of really hard years late in his career where he had injuries and just had a lot of like hard things happening. And you just kind of thought like, oh, he might finally be done. And then it was like another resurgence, won some more races and won a world championships. To see him doing that after all these years, I think to me that's like gives me something to look up to for sure.
I thought my last season was going to be in like 2013. Then I continued to race and I had like some success, and then a world championship in 21. I've put the effort in this last period as if it's my last season. I think everyone goes like, oh, you're in your 30s now, you've got to have one season left. I wish I just ignored everyone. But that's what also motivates me. I feel like if it is my last season, I want to make sure it's a good one.
Normally when one of the big names retires in downhill the last season, it can kind of become a bit of a Rolling Stones farewell tour, a bit of a celebration lap. With Greg, that wasn't the case because he could still win them. Fort William, I think, hung really heavily for people who knew about the sport and knew about Greg.
Maybe this is my last shot to really get another World Championship medal, you know, and no better place than Fort William. My season's been terrible. I mean, it's honestly the worst season I've ever had in my career.
It's been frustrating. It's been hard. He's got the speed. He's been as strong as ever, even after his injuries, and he's just not had the luck to get the results.
I can't think back to a time when I just haven't gained one bit of momentum like I've had.
Greg Minnaar, the greatest of all time.
It's been a bit of bad luck for sure. I mean, puncturing pretty much 3 times in 3 runs and Lenzerheide kicking it this season wasn't great.
It's over, it's over. Twice in the row. Oh, come on!
And then went into Leogang. I had that shock issue going up to the start of my final. Then rode into trees. I don't think it's been a great reflection of the effort put in. I mean, the speed's there and the fitness is there and the bike's great now, but the results haven't shown it. The one thing is if Lady Luck does turn, we need to be ready to take advantage of it.
I don't know that he's having fun this year. I think it's just been so hard, and he's had some injuries that have kept him off the bike for long periods. I'm sure he's got more good races in him. I just hope that he gets out when it makes sense to him personally and not like this drive to just do better, because we've seen that.
Happy birthday to you.
To be honest, I've had most of my seasons don't start well. I don't ride enough downhill in the off season. But this season, I thought I was coming in right. We've had this new bike. My teammates are on mixed wheel bikes. They ride a couple sizes smaller than I do. And you know, we've got 3 riders riding the the same bike and I'm on something different, my bike definitely didn't get the time it needed to be ready for the World Cup.
For certain things, and when he feels like it, he's able to turn off that spinning brain of thinking about everything and carry on. But he can also go down the rabbit hole of just, this is unrideable, there's no way I can make this work. Which is just, it's not the case. That's in your head.
There's something loose in the back end.
But he needs things his way 100%. That's just how he functions.
I just couldn't get the bike to turn. I was really battling to get traction under the rear wheel and grip cornering. So, and then just in the rough stuff, the bike was just spitting me all over the place.
In years past, we've figured out ways to communicate and we've been able to work through things. Lately, it's been impossible. I really think it depends on the amount of stress that's involved in the situation and the performance.
What have you got now?
Ever since I've known him, he's been picky. It's gotten to the extreme because I think he needs that little extra bit to be competitive. He needs the edge.
Just the downhill bike. Just the 90. Yes, thanks.
Through the length of the syndicate, we've had, actually for the longest time, we didn't have any change up of riders. You know, the riders stuck around. While I was on the team, we had very, very good luck with having really great meshing personalities of the mechanics and the racers that in the past gave them a lot of success.
Downhill's a really funny sport in that it's one person on track, but it is a team sport. And if something's not right in that backroom staff, then that one person on the track cannot give the 100% that they need to win. Kathy Sessler moving on from the syndicate and Rob Roscop selling his shares in the Santa Cruz Bikes company. It must have been huge for Greg. It must have been like two wheels coming off a car at once.
Lifetime and Max, Greg, third at split one so far.
You know, they were two pillars in that, especially that race team, that held it together, and for them to both step away must have altered things internally in a massive way.
1.3 after the last split. Oh, look at that puppy. Hello. How are you? You're far more interesting than bike racing.
Oh, she's some attention.
I bet you do.
I'm on a puppy duty for about to go up.
Yeah, well, do you want to swap? So what happened there? Charlie Hatton, 0.9 into the lead. Greg currently P2.
How do you find that time tomorrow?
I'm going to find it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you have to. You have to try at least anyway.
Yeah, the good thing is I'm on the pace. The pace is there. So,
Yeah.
like, you know, 3 seconds over what, 3.5 minutes, whatever it
Is actually not much if you can find that little bit of speed.
No, I can find it.
Yeah.
It's nice that I'm finally mixing it.
Yeah.
You know, that's such a season where it's been like punches and rain and mechanicals and jeez, I'll squeeze the lemon.
All right, well, I look forward to seeing you squeeze the lemon tomorrow.
Thanks, Rick.
Squeeze hard.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you. No, it should be good. Good job.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I feel great on the bike. I mean, we've had some great testing the last couple of weeks leading into this. Although my results this season haven't quite shown it, put in a lot of effort, trained really hard, and we put a lot of development into the bike, and yet a little bit more going into this race.
Hello, and you are all very welcome to the 2023 UCI Cycling World Championships in Glasgow and across Scotland. It's downhill day in Fort William.
Thank you.
The UCI World Championship is a lot different to most other championships. It's one race, and it's that one run that counts to be world champion. You know, racing the World Cup series is slightly different. We have a series of races to be the overall champion, but for cycling, it's just that one race.
Thank you, Greg. You're going to win tomorrow.
That's the chart.
You are.
Yeah, it'd be incredible if I did.
I'll be screaming for you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
It's hard because all that pressure's on that one run, and You can go in hard and heavy and make a mistake and slip further back in the field, or you can put it all together, but you have to attack. You've got to race it, you've got to go hard. So there's such a fine balance between pushing too hard and getting it just right, or riding too tight and stiff and nervous, trying not to make a mistake. And so it's really tough. It's not an easy one to win. To be a world champion is everything. I mean, there's loads of great riders that have come through the sport that have, you know, only won one world championship or haven't managed to win one at all. So it's not something easily done.
Watching you every year, man.
There were lots of rumours at the start of the 2023 season that he was going to retire, this was going to be his last season. Right at the start of the year, you looked at the calendar and you went UCI World Championships, Fort William. You just got the sense that a very Greg Minnaar thing to do would be to take another world's title, do the mic drop, boom, and walk off into the sunset.
For Williams, it's not really a track that I absolutely love racing. It's a venue I love coming back to. You know, the crowds are crazy. It makes you feel like it's a race away from home. But it's a real hard race to race.
It's been a special place because he's known as the king of Fort William. He's won 7 times. There's no one even close to that.
Even though I've had a lot of success there, I still feel like every race I come back I need to try and beat the guys. I don't feel like coming in and going, this is my track, I'm going to win it regardless. It's never been that way. It's probably one of the things that hinders me the most, is probably the lack of confidence that I do have. You know, in 2007 we raced the World Championships here.
Greg Minnaar, one of the greatest downhillers of all time.
It didn't go very well for me. I crashed midway in the forest and dislocated my shoulder and got up in a rush and tried to get my way down and finish 4th. So that wasn't great. And so I feel like I'd like to give the world champs a better shot at Fort William. That's added some pressure on to me to make sure that I'm ready for this weekend. Breakfast of Champions. Sally, what do you call them?
Banana oat pancake.
Banana oat pancake. How's that?
You have to ask.
Plan is to get up there and learn the track, get up to speed. Have a good day out there.
Winning a UCI Downhill World Championship, I personally think is one of the hardest things you can do in cycling. Requires a complete commitment to a very, very fine line between precision and chaos.
Thanks, bro.
No worries,
That's
man.
one race for a World Championship title, the rainbow stripes, your name written into the sports history forever.
That's Greg leaving the pits.
Track stuff, huh?
Yeah, recheck with the 2 oldest riders here.
How is it?
Yeah. and then my teammate Eric and then Blanky. We checked it on the list, yeah.
I had no idea.
Can I do a selfie?
Yeah.
Sweet, I'm stoked.
I think he feels like he's running out of time. He obviously wants to finish on top. I know he's capable. He knows he's capable. He knows he can do it. He works so hard. He's so committed.
Come race day, looking at him you can see he's a coil spring. That intensity has had to go up and up and up over the years. I don't think there's any downhiller goes into the gate laughing and singing. It's a serious sport, you can get hurt. You can get hurt for very little mistakes.
He's a bit battered and bruised, but I think he's not too bad. He's not written off just yet.
I think now when it's more likely to be near the end of his career, he'll feel upset about it for longer than usual just because time is running out.
Honestly, I think he's done what he needs to have done. Like, he's proven himself and he doesn't need to do any more. If everything lines up, he can do it. He's still one of the most talented riders out there.
It's Mr. William.
Greg Minnaar leaves the start hut in Fort William. He's into the woods where he has made so much time in the past.
Looking good. 1.1 back.
1.1 back. It's not undoable for the GO.A.T. The 41-year-old from Pietermaritzburg, 4 times a UCI World Champion, 7 times a winner here in Fort William.
Oh, he's burnt rear tyre. Saw him really hit that rut hard and it just blew the tyre.
And that is a massive, massive disappointment for a lot of the fans here who came to see one of the absolute heroes of downhill racing, the only rider on the start list today to have started that race back in 2002, the first one.
Yeah, what a shame.
Greg Minnaar out of the UCI World Championships.
We got up for the final, the rain came. Unfortunately, our team were just really unprepared for the rain. I didn't really have my bike, I wasn't really settled going into the start gate. I was still waiting for the guys to fit mud guards and stuff, which to me was a bit unsettling. I mean, we've already gone through crashing, trying to recover, trying to heal. Now you're dealing with bad preparation. You know, the run was going all right. You know, I was pushing hard, I was trying to go for it, and then the tyre came off. It's sad, it's normally a good track, but flip, we're nowhere, we're in the bush.
Today I just feel desperate for him because it's something he so badly wanted. He never really says much, and today, after he'd had his crash, his shoulder looks dislocated, his body is banged up, and he just said, I want this so badly. He works so hard, and it's heartbreaking.
Somebody of that stature and that's been around in the sport for that long can't leave on that kind of note.
I was really ready for this. My training was right, my preparation was right. I was prepared, this was my pinnacle. To me, this was the main thing, and I was really prepared in every single way, but there's a lot of my corner that wasn't prepared. I don't know, I just guess it doesn't mean the same to everyone.
So there's a lot of history. It's almost 20 years ago that we started. And on top of how ill-prepared the team was to support him, which would have never happened on our watch, we were hoping he could pull it off, have a kind of a great end. The whole point was, you know, to go out on top, talking to Sarah, his wife, just going, hey, we're gonna corner him right after and just announce it right then and there that this is it. Things, they don't always play out. That was hard. It was infuriating. It was more about just watching what we had built, just watch it crumble right before our eyes. They're not necessarily the right people for the job. That's what it comes down to.
I think I'm just so disappointed because it was so out of my control. I'm really disappointed because it's definitely my final stretch. This is my last straight of my career, and I don't have a team around me that has the same focus and vision that I have. And that's really frustrating. I was hoping this would be my last, but it's just such a way to end any kind of World Championship. But this is one that I wanted to win. This is one that I was ready for. I mean, when I was heading up, I was ready. Geez, I don't know. I mean, things have to change. It's just not good enough, really. It's honestly, I probably won't start another race until gets sorted out. Because I don't think it's fair that I put the effort in and there's no preparation on the other end. That's how I feel.
Tell us about your season so far.
This has probably been my toughest season in I've been racing World Cups now since 2000, so this has been my toughest one. It's, I've had a lot of bad luck, but I've also just had, a lot of problems and issues along the way. It's just been a real struggle. I knew I had the pace and I was feeling good, and just everything and anything that could happen happened to me, from flat tires to you name it. It was just all going wrong. The race that kept me up the most was going into Fort William this year, but that is definitely one race I wish I could have redone. I mean, it was just horrific from the start. Some of the problems that came up, I had a feeling were going to happen, and I'd raised them, and we didn't move quick enough. I think that's possibly the most annoying part of it, but I feel like I'm a little bit of an opportunist, and I feel like there was a good opportunity there to do well. And I hate it when you see an opportunity and it passes by so easily.
Get it, mate.
My goal was to win World Championships, and I would have probably called it a mid-season. There would have been no better way to stop, but I feel like I can honestly say the worst season of my career, and for many different reasons, but it definitely has. It hasn't been fun at all, and one of the main reasons why we race is because we do enjoy it.
One of the really fascinating things about the riddle of the 2023 season, Greg, by his own admission, was having the toughest season he'd ever had. But at the same time, the team had a really, really good year. Jackson Goldstone was the only elite male racer to win 2 UCI World Cup downhill races in his first year as an elite, which is unheard of. Nina Hoffman won in Andorra. They won Team of the Year. The Syndicate were the best team last season. But not in Minnaar's corner of the garage. And I think that will have been a real puzzler for him. That will have been an even bigger one to sort of unpick. I think at the start of the 2023 season, you definitely have to say Greg didn't have anything to prove to anybody. I think whether you like him or you don't like him, the length of his career and what he achieved in that career puts him really in a class of one. I think what was fascinating at the start of the 2023 season was what did Greg have left to prove to Greg.
Come on in. How are you? Very good. Yeah, you've been well. Hey, cool.
He has said he does not want to end as if he is hanging on. He has said that very clearly, but of course it's a very hard balance because you have a fixed number of races, anything can happen. I think that will be probably one of the biggest challenges he faces in his career.
It's really hard to retire. It was my life from being sort of 16, 17 years old, racing week in, week out at World Cups, travelling with the little circus that we have at all these races. Although I knew I was going to retire and I really enjoyed the year that I did retire, it was the next couple of years that I found really tough.
What do I want to do? Jeez. I'm nervous of quitting the sport. I'll end up being a drunk at a bar.
I think we're all nervous.
No, I'm just kidding. I think that's also what's kept me in this for so long is I really just love racing downhill. It's so unique and so special in so many ways. There's nothing like it. I don't feel like I want to go do anything. As I came from motocross into mountain biking, I find it's the one thing that I still do with my friends. We still go ride mountain bikes. I love every part of it. I enjoy surfing, playing golf, and I do that in my days off, and I enjoy that. But there's definitely the feeling like racing a downhill bike, and I think that's what's kept me in the sport for so long, is I absolutely enjoy it that much. I've never wanted to be anywhere else. It doesn't worry me stopping racing. What I'm nervous of is stopping and going, I'm missing this, and I need to come back and race again, and that will never happen. It's quite a tricky one, but I feel like I'm definitely not nervous to stop. I just want to make sure I stop at the right time. Hey, thanks for that. First ride back. It's so damn hard to win, and but I just love the challenge of it. I love just trying to push yourself that much harder. You know, trying to hit corners faster than you know you can, but you can still get away with 1 or 2% over that. That adrenaline at the bottom, knowing that you've got down with taking all these chances, it's all worked out, it's a pretty cool feeling. No, I don't think I'll ever be done with this sport. It's just such an incredible sport. I've been in the tape to watching it. There's no ways I could just be done with it. When you're racing and you're starting to drop off, then you kind of go, that's a good time to stop, but I don't think I've dropped off the pace. You know, it's just been under pressure to try and get that result, and it's just been a whole lot of bad luck thrown in between. So it's been like a recipe for disaster. So that's why I was just like, there's no ways I can end it like this. Okay, let's kick it off. Clap.
Look at that.
Let's hit it.
He's back. First things first, why did you part ways with the Santa Cruz Syndicate?
Yes, you have to start with such a heavy hitter. I mean, me leaving Santa Cruz wasn't really my decision. You know, once I joined Santa Cruz and met Rob and this whole syndicate thing was going, and, you know, for me it was my place to finish racing. At the end of last season, I kind of got blindsided a bit. Straight after Montanand, you know, I was excited to go to California to see Santa Cruz to plot and plan 24 season, because I felt like I didn't really have a fair shot at racing in 23, and I need to come back and give it my best shot. I was blindsided with what went on, and you know, and these things happen, and you know, eventually I just had to suck it up and move on. And yeah, emotionally it was tough. But after that meeting, when I left the building, I actually looked around and I was pretty content that was going to be the last time I was going to visit that place. There's no way you can be treated like that and keep going. So I was pretty comfortable leaving. You know, once things ended with Santa Cruz, I didn't have too many options. I was super fortunate to find an opportunity with Norco.
He parted ways with the syndicate after 16 years. And yeah, Greg Minnaar shocked everyone, went to Norco Racing Division.
Once this opportunity with Norco came, they're like, great, you set up the team, you build this platform for the future riders.
Hello, bro.
You know, he has this opportunity, and I was like, really, that's amazing. So it's been so cool to set this team up like I want it. And it's so nice to come to a training camp where we've got a busy schedule, we've got a lot of stuff to test. Yet because there's a plan in place, because we've got the right people in the right jobs, it's completely stress-free as a rider. Thanks, Sean. Thank you. It's something I've been wanting for a while, and it's amazing that it's happening now.
I think the Norco, the new team, the new setup, the new deal he's got, has given him something that he didn't have at the start of 2023, which is an off-ramp out of racing. I think what kind of lay over the horizon scared him a bit, and he didn't know what that would be. Whereas I think he's found something in this new team. The reward potentially lies in what he can do with Norco and developing that team, developing everything around it, the riders, the bikes, staying in the sport, staying part of it. He loves racing, he loves being at the races. And I think maybe he found something he wasn't expecting to find.
You know, Norco's been around for 60 years, but until I met the engineering, I had no idea what they'd built in the last couple of years. Look at Tom, you bring out the camera and he walks around carrying the bike with one arm. This is the leveling up and professionalism that I want to see, that I've been wanting for the last, I don't know how many years. It's not just a felt good, yeah, I think it's going to work well. It is faster, it is more consistent, it's the right direction.
The experience at the syndicate, it obviously wasn't how he wanted to part ways with them, but I also think it maybe for him crystallised what he wanted in a team.
Yeah. I think I've used a bit of what Rob brought in placing the right people, and I've pulled that in with the culture of performance. And I think we've got great personalities. I really feel like you need to get to know these guys.
Hello, Gracey.
You're already seeing in Norco Racing Division, everyone's got a role, everyone gets about it. The atmosphere is relaxed and friendly, but it's also very efficient. There's a lot of work going on.
Sean Sullivan from Norco said to me he wants to have the fastest bike and the best team in the world. And so that's what we're setting out to do. I'm just a competitive person, so if it's not competing on the track, I'm competing and building this team to be the best team. It's another way of expressing your competitiveness. You know, I've been racing for 20 plus years of World Cup. I can see where there's gaps, I can see where there needs a position filled. And I never had that opportunity. Every time I wanted to try and suggest or move into something, I was, quite clearly told I'm a rider and put back in the box.
It's been sketchy.
I haven't had this opportunity to pass on knowledge to younger riders. Being a team director, that is what I'm put in place to do, to guide these riders to aiming to be a #1 team. It's new to me. It's nice being able to pass on knowledge that I've got in racing to the younger guys. In 12 months, I want to have a successful team. And by successful, I feel a platform for riders to excel. At 42 years old, I feel I can still win races, whilst I wouldn't be racing. But the future of this is about the younger riders. I would be a happier racer and person if I saw Gracey win a race, or Lucas win a race, because they totally can. I really feel they can. For me, success now would be if one of the other riders won a race. I want this to be the best team out there. I mean, that's success. If I get on the podium and win a few races, man, that'll be just like a dream come true. I don't want to be racing World Cups if I'm just there for being a name. I want to be there because I'm competing. I want to be there because I'm challenging for wins and podiums. So I'm definitely fired up for this season. It's, at my age, you take it 1 year at a time.
What do you hope that the sport looks back on you as?
Hey man, that's a pretty tough question. How did you come up with this? This is deep stuff, yeah. I mean, I don't even think I speak to my wife about stuff like this.
Minnaar!
I think you can see some people are incredibly physically gifted. Some people are really strong and fast, and some people are just not going to lose mentally. And he's definitely on that side of things.
I would think of him as just being one of the most consistent riders of all time. He just finds a way to kind of keep doing it, and I'm sure he could do it for another 3 to 5 years if he really wanted to.
The thing that really stands out when you talk about Minnaar is that you look at those 25 years and you look at the riders, the big names who have been and gone from the sport in those 2.5 decades, and he's beaten every single one of them. Every single one of those names has advanced either the technical side of the sport, the approach to the sport, the technique side of the sport, the physical side of the sport, and every single time there's one denominator. He comes up with a way of beating them.
His career and his stats are going to be the thing I think people will most remember him for, but I wish more people could actually know him personally and know how just the most amazing, funniest person he is.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.